Okay. Testing, testing. Seems like I want to make sure my audio is a little quieter than that. I don't want to be clipping this audio too much. Let's go ahead and back that down a little bit. Let's see how clicky my mouse sounds on this. Okay, that's not too bad. This is actually being recorded using a different microphone, so it might actually come out being a little loud. Let's hopefully get this down to be a little bit quieter. Let's try this. Let's adjust the microphone just a little bit. Okay, how's that? There we go. It's a little quieter. Okay. Basically, I wanted this to be just a little bit quieter, just because I know I've got quite a lot going on with just the new microphone. So I guess, oh, now my mouse pad is kind of acting up on me. Well, I should say my lack thereof of mouse pad. I'm actually just using my bed, my bedspread to try to use my mouse. Do I have really anything I can do to rectify this? I don't think I do. Alrighty. So we got some people jumping in the chat. That was pretty quick. I guess I'll go ahead and just open up the actual camera now. So now you're looking on my little stream deck I got going on. But how's it going, guys? I know it's been a while since I've actually kind of uploaded any kind of content regarding some of the sirens I've been working on. And to be honest, I really haven't been working on much of anything. I pretty much have just been too busy with just work. I mean, the usual stuff. Life gets in the way, and I really just haven't had much of a free, free inventive time to work on the sirens. So this. It's something I had been knocking around in my head for quite a while. Ever since I designed the original 500, the SHTTs. Um, I figured, well, if I was able to do that, I surely could probably make a DHTT, which I think would be really, really unique, considering there really isn't a whole lot of information on them. There's not a whole lot of actual like recordings of it, other than the one that's in like Colorado. Um, Pretty much, several reasons essentially as to why I was wanting to really go ahead and actually get it up. So we're going to be working on that today. I've got a lot of this work already done. I will note. So I've modeled the 8-port side. I've modeled the 12-port side already, but I'll go ahead and show you what I've been working on so far with it. And we're probably going to be building the rotator today, which is most likely what it's going to be working on. So I see a couple people joined in the chat. I've already got 8 viewers. That was pretty quick. I don't know if YouTube sent out a notification that I was actually streaming or not. So we got in here. We got Thunderbolt Siren 1003, Silent 65 Gaming. That's cool. Good to see you back in here, dude. T-Bolt Siren Lover 1003, Thunderbolt Siren 1003, Train Traveler. I think I've recently messaged you actually, or saw a recent video you did. OC Sirens, Matthew Donner. What's up, Matt? Andy DC. What's up, Connor? Yeah, what's up? What's going on, Andy? OWS of the South, Model 5, Anti-Japan. Are you? Oh, okay, my gosh. Silent 65 Gaming. Okay. So anyway, I hope the new microphone kind of sounds a bit better than just using the regular built-in microphone that's on the laptop. Hopefully this time having it a bit isolated, you're not going to hear me just ticky-tacking on the keyboard the whole time. So hopefully it's a little bit clearer this time. If you're wondering what microphone I'm using the exact same microphone I use for when I'm recording my videos. I don't have a little tripod that's small enough to actually hold it up, so I'm using my camera, the hot shoe on my camera to actually hold it. So it's it's a little it's a little rigged up, but it'll work. Um, you were just commenting. Train Traveler says you were just commenting on my video a few hours ago. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like, it's crazy that you just went ahead and that it came up that you were in my stream. That's cool. Thunderbolt Siren 1003. Hello. Yes, hello to everyone. Um, but I guess I will start off by just kind of jumping into it. So I'll show you some of the parts that I have printed so far. I don't have an actual operating model yet. You guys have seen, of course, the 500 SHTTs, which I will also be re-bringing out again soon. I'm actually in the process of making a couple of them right now. They're sitting on my desk right now. But I basically was held up, like I said, because of time. Didn't have any time to make them, and I also just didn't have filament for some reason. There's a really big backlog on yellow filament. It's really hard to kind of come by right now, for whatever reason. So I really just kind of couldn't make any. But the parts I have managed to make for the 500 DHTT, I'll go ahead and actually open this up so you guys can see what I've got done so far. So, like I said, I've got primarily a lot of the functional parts is going to be actually making the noise done. So, of course, I got my 8-port rotor over here. Go ahead and actually get rid of analysis so you can actually see everything. So I've got the 8-port side over here. This is all done, of course. Let me get rid of this intake tube. So there is the 8-port side. If you're wondering why there's a bit more of a larger hub, I'm getting to that. You'll see it later on, kind of as we go through a description of what I've done so far. But that's the 8-port side. Nothing too special. It's pretty much just what you'd expect for an 8-port federal, with all the general details. So there's the details of like having like the retaining block and everything like that. But it's all there. And then we hop on over to the other side. So here's our 12-port side. This is probably looking a bit more familiar to what you've seen on like the original Model 7s, which I introduced quite a while ago now. I believe is actually my second, no, my third Siren model I ever actually ended up selling. But so this should be very familiar. It's just a standard federal 12 port. But the difference that I have with these sirens, with this model in particular, the DHTT, that I wanted to do just a little bit differently compared to the 500 SHTT or even like the Model 7s, is that I'm trying something a little bit different. I'm not doing it in the same scale. So I'm not trying to keep it in the same scale as the Model 7, the Mach 7, or even the SD10, and how those were all relatively about the same scale. Those were roughly about like 1/12 scale. Um, these newer sirens, which I'll be introducing at some point in the future, are going to be slightly larger than that. They're probably going to be more comparable to, I'd say, about probably 1/8 scale. If not, no, probably not 1/8, probably more like 1/10 scale. So they're going to be about 1/10. They're going to be a little bit larger, and conversely, also just a little bit louder, which I think is going to be kind of cool. So the 1/10 scale sirens will include the Alerter 125 912 port, which I'll also eventually make in different port ratios, just because, you know, when you think of an alerter, you think of 812, but I'll probably end up doing that later on. I just like 912. And then the P10, P15s will also be available in the same scale, so they're gonna be 1/10 as well. Which I haven't shown that. That's one thing that I guess is a bit of a tease. I can't grab it right now because it's a little far away from my computer. But I am working on a P10 also, so a P10 and a P15. So that's something that I can probably show in just a second. Let me go ahead and actually pull up the stream just so I can easily monitor it. Makes it a lot easier for me. Let me go in here and pull the stream up really quickly. So, okay, cool. I just want to make sure I can see everything, just because it can sometimes be a bit of a pain. So we'll go ahead and I'll cycle through some of the stuff I have on here so far. Where is it? Where is the P10, or the P15, I should say. There it is. So the ACA alerter, it's just labeled ACA alerter because it's using the same exact chassis and rotator mechanism as you'd expect. But here is the P10. This is a 912 P10, of course. The back motor cover, I haven't made the new one yet. This is actually the same size as the alerter, which doesn't look right. If you look at it, you look how small this back motor cover is. Trust me, that's going to be fixed. This is a simple part to change, and that's going to be a bit larger, so that just the proportions make a bit more sense. But that is the P10 right there. So nothing super special about it. It's what you'd expect for like a P10. So go ahead, I can remove the projector. So there's the inside of it. There's the cone and everything. So for those of you who are wondering what the guts of my alerter look like, that's basically what that looks like. So, but yeah. So I'll go ahead and read some of the chat to see what we got going on there. So ST Shin says hello, Connor. What's going on, man? At Train Traveler, what sirens you got? Any legit ones? Does not include the MS series. Silent 65 Gaming. The only siren I have right now is Connor's 500 SHTT. I forgot you got one of my 500s. I completely forgot about that. Sorry, I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the chat. I'm going to also mute my Discord right now because it's kind of blowing up. So, we got Thunderbolt Siren 1003 says of a Model 5, T7T, 2T22, and 1003. I'm assuming those are probably like Edon's models, probably. Um, how is the Q doing? STH10 says, how is the Q doing? The Q is kind of just on the back burner right now. I did a little bit of work with it, and I basically have just left it where I left it. I really didn't touch it after the last stream, I believe. So it has pretty much just sat. But this is the Q. This is how far I got with it. A lot of the details I didn't ever end up actually adding to it, so don't use. That's funny. So if I go ahead and add everything to it, though, this is basically what I had for the Q. It's not perfect by any means. This is really kind of just like my own like a little first attempt just to see if I could do it. But that is the Q so far. And in my attempt to actually make it coast, I'll go ahead and cut it in half so everyone can see kind of what I did. It didn't work very well. The slop that is in the bearings I was using it was just too much of a degree of hassle. It was just not working for me, so I just kind of just abandoned it. But this is what I have for the Q. That's kind of a cutaway view of it. So let's go ahead and actually make sure we get some of these things out of the way. So let me get rid of these bearings because these are just right in the way. Let me go ahead and get rid of this analysis actually, and then remove some of the back. But I know some people were kind of curious about the Q. I had a couple people comment in I think my approaching 2,000 subscribers video that was asking about it, and well, this is it. This is about as far as I got with it. So the clutch was a total failure. It didn't end up working at all because of just how small it is. And the little peg that actually comes off of the end of the inside of the clutch was just not strong enough to hold up to the weight of the rotor with the rotor weight on it. So the first one I modeled, and I actually got it to spin up. It did spin up and it coasted for a second, but it ended up just completely just shearing the end of the shaft off once I stopped the motor, and I just abandoned that idea. It was just too much of a hassle. So, but I mean it's eligible for being a functional siren. I could definitely make it work without the clutch, and then it would probably not be an issue. But that's where I have it right now. And this is my cat. This is one of my cats. Spice, you have no idea what's going on, don't you, sweetheart? So yeah, there's a couple models that I said that I've got put kind of on the back burner, but I definitely will probably do something with them at least because I have spent the time on at least making them. So I would be kind of inclined to at least get them out to do something. This one specifically, I tried to model to be small enough to basically fit like on a 1/10 scale like RC car, because I have a Traxxas TRX4 Bronco back home that I like to do like little model rock crawling with, and I thought it'd be super cool to have like a little Model Q on it. So, but that was what I was basically doing with this one. So that's the Q. So I'm gonna go ahead and not save this because I didn't do anything to it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and show off some of the other things I've been working on that I haven't really introduced yet, or even really done much of a video on. So of course the P15, the P10 is one of them. I'm gonna have them in 912, and then as well as 8-port. So that's gonna it'll make sense. So those are the two port ratios I'm thinking about doing. I might do some more in the future. I'm not entirely sure, but that's just what I've been working with right now. So go ahead and exit out of that. But another one I've been working on, which I haven't done a video on, is I made a very lazy, and I mean very lazy, castle castings. The rotors look really good. The rotors look really good. That was not. I'm definitely proud of the rotors, but the actual shape of the siren itself and the base, I'm just not proud of. Mainly because it's just lacking so much detail. It honestly looks like an MS590 or something like that. That's actually dual tone. But it's just really goofy. It works. I made one model for my fiance's coworker, but I really haven't done anything else with it. I probably will make one for myself, but until I get the details worked out and I'm actually happy with the way it looks, you're probably not going to be seeing this one for a little bit. But that's that. This is just going on a little bit. Let's see what else we got. So this is a Model 7. I'm using some of the other Sirens I've made as reference points, but so that's nothing important. So we'll get out of that. So onto the DHTT again. So like I said before, this one is going to be slightly larger scale. So I actually have some examples right here to show you. So the rotor in the DHTT, I got two of them actually. I got both of them. So if I can get 1 second, I gotta go ahead and grab something to kind of show in a second. Hold on 1 sec. I'll be right back. Literally, I'll literally be right back. Okay, sorry about that for a second. I had to go actually go to my desk and mess up my whole system to kind of go actually grab pieces to show everyone. So let me go ahead and actually make this just a little bit bigger so everyone can kind of see me a bit larger and more scaled up. So what I've actually got going on right here is I've got just to kind of illustrate better what kind of scale I'm talking about. Well, first off, there's the front of the P15 or the P10, but that's not really that important right now. But here is here are the rotors out of the 500 DHTT so far. This is what I've made. These are going to be about the same, the final size of what I'm going to be going with. These are just example rotors. I usually print rotors first and see kind of how they print just to kind of see if I'm going to run into any difficulties when it comes to actually making a whole bunch of them. But here are the rotors for those. And as an example, so this is the 8-port, 12-port. Here is the old 12-port. So this is the 12-port rotor from something like say the Model 7. So if you look at the Model 7's rotor, which is 12-port obviously, and the 500's 12-port rotor, you can see there's quite a sizable difference. The 500 is marginally thicker, but the ports are significantly bigger if you look on the edges of them. So the ports are much, much wider than that of the smaller rotor, and the actual diameter of the rotor is a decent change in size as well. So I'm hoping that allows the Siren to pull a lot more air through it, so it's a bit louder than what the 500 is currently. So that's one of the things I just wanted to show. And then, of course, like I said, there's the 8-port as well. So they're all very, very big. So, and here, just for scale, so people can kind of get an idea of how big it is. There is the rotor out of the current 500 SHTT, and there again is one of the rotors out of the 500 DHTT. So again, it's going to be in a slightly larger scale than the other Sirens, just because I think this is going to make it work a bit more efficiently. I'm also fairly certain that because of the fact this is actually this is a two rotor Siren and not a sandwiched, stacked dual tone rotor like this one, that it's just going to be louder in general because the rotors can pull more air through them individually rather than having them stacked up like that. So we'll see how it comes out once it's actually modeled and done. But I'm probably going to be pretty close to actually having a functional prototype, which I'm probably not going to do a video on. It's probably going to be a much later thing. Thank you, sweetheart. And that'll of course be with its own. It's not its own release video, but its own like teaser, like kind of experimenting with it video. So that's what I've got so far. I've also got the actual projectors for him. So there's one of the projectors. There's the projector from the other one. It's got a little bit of overhanging plastic, but that's just because I haven't cleaned it. These are actually the same. These are slightly. I think these are actually slightly larger than that of the current 500 SHTT. But yeah, so there's that. If I wanted to go ahead and assemble it really quickly, just to show you kind of what I'm talking about, I can actually take the stator, the 8-port stator, stick it in there, and then there we go, and boom. So it's going to look something like that. It's probably not going to come across the camera very well, but it's going to look something like that, at least on one side. So with that being said, I guess it's enough of me kind of rambling. We'll look at the chat one brief little more time, and we'll go ahead and jump in and actually start modeling something. So, like I said, I've got a lot of the groundwork kind of laid out already in terms of what I'm going to be doing with the 500. So a lot of that stuff has already been kind of modeled, but mainly we're just working on the rotator. So the rotator is one of our big functions today, or our big focuses. So read a little bit of the chat. Let's see, we got the 500 DHTT. This is from AJ Palma. Oh, Piermo. Okay, AJ Piermo. The 500 GHTT is looking good. I use OpenSCAD for 3D modeling because I could just never get the hang of graphical 3D modeling. But clearly you're very skilled with it. Dude, believe me, I'm not really that skilled with it. It's like, this is I have a lot of this stuff I don't have any like real formal education with. A lot of the stuff has just been self-taught. If you really stick through it, I bet you probably could get it. It's after you pick it up, it's like second nature. It's like riding a bike. If you don't practice it for a while, you definitely do get rusty. Well, that's bad. A bike is probably a bad example, but skating or something like that. Because if you don't use it for a while, you get kind of rusty. Thunderbolt 1000, Thunderbolt Siren 1003. The Sirens I have are real, Connor. I have a 7T, 5T 1003, and 2T22. That's cool. Train Travelers. It somehow works because the county EMA hasn't done anything yet. Wiring is good in order to. Okay. 912 port 3T21. Very nice looking rotors. OWS of Kansas. Here's a mini Siren idea. A Gents Type 1472. 912 port 3T21. Yours print way better than mine. If you're referring to the rotors, as to why the rotors come out looking so well, some people might not know, but all of my rotors as of now, and basically ever since the 500 came out, all of my rotors are actually resin printed. They're not printed using a regular printer, so that's why they usually end up coming out looking so good. Because it's just much more precise. And I like the rotors looking clean. T-Bolt Siren Lever 1003. Oh, I'd love to see a mini Federal Code Model 20. I think you're referring to specifically like a dual rotor Type 5, but okay, I think I know, but I get your point. OWS of Kansas, that'd be cool. Silent 65 Gaming. I don't know if he said this because I can't hear anything, but he resin prints his rotors. Yes, thanks for running some interference for me there. Thunderbolt Siren 1003. How about 1003? Eventually, I will actually be making a 1003. I'm working out how I'm going to be doing that with the solenoids. I'm going to be actually doing it a bit differently. I'm not going to have two solenoids. I'm actually going to have a 2 or a 3. I'm going to make my own solenoids. I'm going to make a 3-position solenoid, so I can have it be high, low, and then open, so I can make it you know, do pulses and stuff like that. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. He'll probably make one in the future. Yeah, like I said, I'm planning on making one. OWS of Kansas. AJ says hi. How's it going, AJ? OC Sirens. At T-Bolt Siren level 1003. Voice crack. OC Sirens at T-Bolt Siren level 1003. It's a dual rotor. It's a dual rotor Federal Code Type 5. Yeah, that's okay. So you're clarifying it for me too. 912 port 3T21 says, "Hey Connor. Sorry, I'm just running through my chat as quick as I can. T-Bolt Siren level 1003. Yeah, no. I plan on making a mini 6M blower. Good luck. They're a real pain when 3D printing. Thunderbolt Siren 1003 says, "Connor, yeah, what's up? What do you need, dude?" Uh, EOWS 812 Siren Production says, "I own a 612. That's pretty cool. Do you have the controller for it too?" Uh, Train Traveler, if you wanted context, we're talking about a vortex. Okay. Yes, a dual rotor Mach 5. Will you make a mini EOWS 812? I might end up making an EOWS 612 at some point. Because I've already worked on like the Wayland the WPS 2902. But I probably will make something. I want to do eventually some electronic sirens in the future besides just the Wayland, and actually have it work properly. I'm actually currently working with a buddy through Etsy to actually get a controller made for him. So, but I haven't talked to him in a little bit, so it's kind of just on hold right now. Drink. Sippies. Okay, so a lot of the stuff I already have printing right now. I currently have the this back housing over here. It's actually going to be supporting this motor printing on the Crucio right now. So the problem I had with these with this siren, with the DHTT, is that on because of the scale that I'm printing my stuff in, and because of the motors I like to use, just because of ease of supply of like supplying them, and then just the way I just like the way they work. Because of the motors I use, making working with dual shaft sirens is kind of a pain. So that's probably why you haven't seen me do a lot of dual shaft sirens really at all. And I'm only just now kind of breaking into them. Of course, by all means, making model sirens that are this small actually rotate was kind of like my first hurdle. So I know that I think as of well, I think it's not that's kind of a misnomer. I think I'm so far one of the few that have actually made the rotating sirens out of that are 3D printed. Just because I know there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of components, and it's kind of a pain to do it. But getting them to rotate at this scale was kind of like my biggest hurdle first. From there, we can jump in and do some more of the other stuff. But the problem I have, like I said, is because these motors are so small. Again, I use specifically for my models, I use what are called RM130 motors. They might have different names depending on where you get them from, but that's usually the kind of the standard for them. So if you look at something like the 500 SHTT, which is one of my most popular ones, it's for good reason. It's one of my favorites too. If you look at where the motor is actually placed in the siren, let me go ahead and remove this doghouse back here because it's kind of in the way. If you look at where the motor sits in this siren, it sits right in here, and this is what the motor looks like, for those who are wondering. Go ahead and get rid of all this junk that's just on top of this, so you can see what the motor looks like. Projector, blah, 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 blah. There we go. So the motor looks like this. This is basically what you'd see like in say like a model train or like slot cars. They're kind of a common size. And here is that motor right here. So I had to model the motor first basically just so I could put it in here to make sure everything fits right. But these motors are very, very small, and finding one that has dual shafts and long ones at that is really a pain. So rather than either taking one of these motors, getting a 2 millimeter shaft, which is the size of the shaft that these motors use, and then pressing the shaft out of it and pressing and pushing in a longer one. so I can make it work. Instead of doing that, which I think was just too complicated, and I don't have the capacity of doing that at scale with my current setup of where I'm actually at. Rather than doing all of that, I would just wanted to make these motors work already. So my idea is that I'm going to kind of have the Siren biased so that the motor actually sits a bit closer to one side of the Siren. So it sits, in this case, it's sitting closer to the 12-port rotor. So it sits closer to the 12-port rotor, just like this. And in order for it to actually have this shaft go all the way across to reach the 8-port side, there's something, it's literally just as simple as having this kind of adapter shaft on it. And the one problem that I'm concerned about, and this is gonna be kind of figured out as we kind of go through and start prototyping some stuff, is I'm concerned that since this is sticking pretty far off of this motor, off the base of this motor, and even though these rotors are made out of plastic, they're still pretty heavy. So it's just because of the speed that they're spinning at. Not because of the speed, but they're heavy, even when they're made out of plastic. I don't want this little shaft that's right here, this extension, to cause vibration issues. Because I do want to maintain, excuse me, apologize for that. I do want to maintain a relatively tight tolerance between the walls of the rotor and the walls of the stator. So in this case, I usually set my tolerance to about 0.2 to almost about half a mil in most cases, just to make sure that I have plenty of space between the two edges. So in this case, there's no way I have a 2 millimeter gap between the two. That's insane. No, that doesn't make any sense because I do not have that big of a gap. Oh, it's because it's measuring from this top edge to, okay, that makes more sense. But basically, I'm really concerned that this whole shaft is going to want to make the whole rotor wobble when it's actually spinning at around 3000 RPM or roughly around that area. And I really don't want it to start scraping. There's one thing I despise more than anything, and that's a Siren that has rotors that scrape like crazy on the stator. It drives me insane. So, and I especially don't want to have it happen with my models. So, it's something I have to consider. If this doesn't end up working, I might just have to move the motor, scoot the motor over, and then have two of these little shafts come off. So one will go into the back of the 12-port rotor, one will go back into the back of the 8-port rotor, just to kind of balance it a bit better, and so that this whole rotor isn't like being essentially stuck on a stick out in the open. So that's kind of the idea I have. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. So the task at hand now is the head and the whole portion that's going to be actually making the noise. We'll experiment with that later as the parts actually get printed and kind of come together. And this I'll show you my way of how I got this all assembled. So this is just like a really dumb little straight pipe that's basically holding this whole thing. But the two plates actually join up like that. So there's actually a back plate that this stator, the front stator, actually mounts to. And the projector itself has this little lip in there to help locate and align both of these plates and the stator. So that's already built into the model, so it makes it really easy to assemble when it comes to gluing it. And then in order for this all to slot together, there's actually basically like these two pipes that are basically going to slip into each other. And that allows the two stators and rotors to be aligned properly. So that's basically how that's going to work. This is going to be a really tight fit. You can see that motor is really sandwiched in there. And this is, of course, this is a cutaway view. I love doing analysis views because it really helps you see where everything's kind of lining up. But this is basically what we got. And this is a little hole that's slot in the top of those two pipes right there, just so that I can actually have access to the top of the motor because that's where the terminals sit. So I can go ahead, solder my terminals, stick the wires through, and then have the whole thing basically connected together. So the only thing I gotta think about, is how we're gonna make this thing rotate. So the real 500s, of course, this is a video from Tyler Shaw. It's kind of it's a bit of an older one, about like a year ago, but this is the Callahan, Colorado one. It's very, very common. You guys already know this one, of course. But this one right here, I like using the videos sometimes because it's really nice because you can actually get like a pretty good freeze frame where you can actually stop the video at kind of any position you want the siren at. I wish he was a little bit closer when he was recording this video so you can get a bit of a better shot, but this will definitely do. And of course, I've got other people that have sent me some stuff that allowed me to kind of get some better perspectives of it. Um, but yeah, so the one thing I will note is this little plate that's kind of at the bottom. We as of right now we don't really know what the inside of the rotator looks like. I can already tell that it's not going to be a belt-driven rotator like the 500s were, or the SHTTs at least. It's not going to be a belt-driven rotator like those. It's very clearly using its own independent motor down in here to actually spin this because you can see that when the siren does lose power and it's not being powered anymore, it immediately stops. It doesn't sit there and just keep coasting. So see how it immediately stops like that as it starts to wind down. Very telling that it's definitely got some kind of induction motor in the bottom and not some kind of gear drive. So that wasn't that hard to assume. Um, but yeah, we don't really know what's going on up in here, so that'll be interesting to kind of play with. So I guess, oh, what is that? Let's move rose slicing. We'll get rid of that later. That's something I was already printing. Read a little bit more of the chat really quickly. So, in case you're wondering what Gents type 1472 one is the tritone one. Okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. CNY Siren Boy says, I'm starting 3D printing. Well, that's awesome, dude. That'd be cool. Really cool to see what you end up creating. What are some of the sirens you're thinking about you're making as your first kind of head first dive into 3D printing? Legends Devs says looks pretty cool so far. BSP did a mini Felico dual rotor Model 5. I haven't seen any of that. 912 port 3T21. You could try to stick a tiny ball bearing in there to support the shaft a bit. That was another thing I was thinking about doing because I've got plenty of these really small ball bearings, but any little bit of resistance ends up like just messing up the wind down so much. It's insane. Um, OWS of the South says I'm not very up to date on BSP. I really haven't watched any of his stuff recently either. OWS of Kansas, it's most likely a Thunderbolt rotator inside of a taller housing. It seems, yeah, it's probably gonna be something similar to that. So, I know. And for those who are watching this stream after it has gone live and are just watching kind of like the video later on YouTube, if it sounds like I'm talking really quick, it's because there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to get through all at once. So I apologize for that. But that's pretty much why I'm talking like is going really crazy. So I think the way I want to kind of have this thing mounted is I have to take some kind of considerations in where these wires are going to be going. So probably just like blew out 7 people's eardrums with that cough. So I kind of want to do something similar to the way the 500 SHTT rotators work. I'm not a very big fan of having the motor mounted up inside the cabinet. So it'll probably be mounted like you'd expect in this, probably going to be somewhere down in here. I'm thinking about just modeling this box from one side, having a support brace like about right here, with a tube that goes down, has the bottom bearing, has the motor somewhere around right here, and then has just the 2 gears to actually drive the whole thing. And then down below that little crossbar, I'm probably going to put the actual speed controllers, because it's going to have 2 speed controllers, one for the actual the chopper motor, and then one for the rotator. So I guess let's do a little bit of freehand and see if I can at least kind of get the shape generally right for what I want to do. Is this gonna be lined up right? I hope it is. Oh, perfect. Okay, sweet. So I think currently the actual distance, the spacing between the projectors is pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty good. So I think this is going to be pretty fine in terms of it being spaced out properly. So we'll go ahead and do a construction plane, which gives me some kind of area to start kind of building stuff with. And we'll just start kind of tracing out what the box is going to look like. So I'll go here and do create sketch. We'll just start off with doing some lines. It looks good.
I like it.
It looks really good.
Makes me feel seen.
So, okay, I need to find a kind of a center point here. So I think this should be our center point, right? Let's go ahead and check this really quick. So this distance is how far is this? Actually, you know what? I'm stupid. Let me just do this. Go and inspect, and we'll see how far this distance is. So from this end of the 8-port projector to the other end of the 12-port projector, it is about 47.37. So let's say like 47.5, and we'll just say that. Let's see, 47.5. So we'll go ahead and split that in half. So I'll go ahead and I am a I am lazy and don't like math, so I'm just going to use a calculator. So it's 23.75. I should have been able to do that in my head, but I'm a moron. So let's do off this edge. We'll come off of here just to basically give me some kind of scale. We'll go ahead and do 23.75 as well. Basically just kind of to get me like a rough midpoint of where the center of the center is going to be. And from there, we should be able to kind of start tracing out what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to come down from here just a little bit. And of course, I'm going to make this in a position where I can actually easily move this around again. So I don't know, how big is this? How big does this look? It looks pretty small compared to where it is. Man, they make that rotator cabinet is huge. Now that I think about it, it is a gigantic rotator cabinet. So it's going almost to the edges of the actual, like, the edge of the projector. So let's say we're over there, and yeah, that's really big, man. I didn't really even realize that. So I don't want to go all the way to the very edge. Let me go ahead and move the video a little bit. Man, of course it stopped moving right in that frame. Come on, get moving again. There we go. So, yeah, there's a pretty good gap there. So, I'm glad I checked, because if I didn't check, don't save. Did I say that was like 23 point something? Yeah, 23.75. We'll go ahead and come down, go from right there. Let's make that, let's make it like 17 something. Okay, since I'm down here, I don't want to use like odd numbers. I'm going to use like something like 18. Let's use 18 for that edge. We'll do 18 on this side too. Just make sure that's something that's even. So it makes this a lot easier later on. So we're not using like weird odd measurements. So 18, 18. I think that's probably gonna be a pretty good size for this top little part of the panel. I'm not gonna measure. I want to make sure the printer wasn't screwing up, so I was listening really carefully. I don't want to make this top. I don't want to make this like little stand just quite yet. It looks good, honey. Yeah, and I actually really now that like maybe just because of the lighting, but I can't actually. Okay, I was gonna say, so I can't actually tell that much of a difference this time. So my wife is trying on well, my fiance is trying on like the veil and everything like that, because we're getting married very very soon. So okay, so I don't want to make this portion of it yet. So I'm gonna do that a bit later. So I think this is probably at least a pretty good ballpark kind of measurement here. I'm really concerned that as this thing actually goes and rotates around, that the edges of the projectors are gonna like sit there and scrape on the rotator cabinet because it's so freaking big. But But yeah, we'll deal with that later. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give me kind of some kind of data point to kind of go off of here about how tall it's gonna sit. That looks pretty accurate actually, because the rotator cabinet is also just long. It uses such like an oddly large rotator. I don't really understand why, because it's like there's not a whole lot going on in there. It's just a rotator and a couple of slip rings. Bolt the floofy werewolf. Uh, dyslexic. Bolt the floofy werewolf says first time showing up to one of your streams. It's funny because it seems like sometimes I never have the same people twice. There's a couple people in there that are in here that I've had before, of course. Uh, FANF Siren guy. What's up, Anakin? Says, hey, dude. Bolt the Flippy Werewolf says, oh. 912 port 3T21 says you could stick a tiny bearing in there to support the shaft a bit. Okay, yeah, I forgot, I read that already. So yeah, but yeah, what's going on, Anakin? We'll definitely have to do a stream together at some point, but this is probably not going to happen in this one. North Dakota's Sirens and Roblox. Yo, what's good, Connor? Not much, not much. I'm just working on trying to design this rotator for the DHTT. So right now it's getting the proportions correct. Um, Now I do have my own. I do have a source for some really good pictures. I'll go ahead and I will pull some of those up right now, actually, just basically so I can have some better reference. I'm not going to show them on streams because I don't have permission to go ahead and show them. They're not, I don't want them to take all the credit for it. But I got some pretty good pictures on here so I can kind of get a bit of a better reference as to what I'm going off of. But basically, right now, I'm just trying to figure out about how tall I need to make this rotator cabinet. So there's not like exact dimensions. This is what I like to call freehand modeling, where you're basically going off of just what you can find in pictures and like videos, and basically doing just like what looks generally right. And unfortunately, a lot of my older stuff was done freehand, and I don't like to do freehand very much, but oftentimes it's kind of just when it comes to a siren that's just not very well known about, or just really well documented, there's just things you're gonna have to do. So that's basically what I'm doing right now, is I'm basically gonna be doing some freehand. So I got some good looking proportions here. Yeah, okay. Interesting that they use the same E-series motors on those too. Man, Federal really like to use the E-series, the E-type motors for all their like three-phase stuff. And for those who are wondering, the E-type series are like these types of motors that you see like on the STL10 and stuff like that. They're General Electric made. Um, yeah, that doesn't look too bad where I have it kind of placed right now. Be a little shorter, about like right there. If that's gonna be the bottom of the rotator cabinet. Even that looks kind of small. Let's go, let's call it in the middle and say like right there. That looks pretty good. I'm just gonna say right there. So in terms of like length of how tall it's gonna be. Um, uh, FANF Siren Guy 91. This Anakin. Hey dude, are you gonna going to make it smaller like I told you in the call? That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, what do you mean by smaller? Because like I want to make it about the same size roughly as like the 500 SHTT. Just it's gonna be the rotors are gonna be a little bit bigger and the stators are gonna be a little bit bigger. So it's just generally gonna be more of like I said before, like a 1/10 scale. Just because I'm trying to kind of get away from my really small stuff. Really small sirens like the Model Ls, Model As, and then stuff like that. That's of course is just going to be really small. But for like my models based off of like full size air raid sirens, they're just gonna have to be a bit bigger. I kind of want to make it a bit bigger at least. I went Tornado Siren Kid number one says, It says, does anyone really know how the DHTT rotator mechanism works? Like Kansas was saying, or OWS of Kansas, I think it's probably something at least somewhat similar to the Thunderbolt. So I know that Federal really liked that kind of rotator design. They kind of stuck with designs that were very similar to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably using at least something that's close to that. Um, I mean, like God, like even like look at the like a 2001's rotator. It's very similar to Thunderbolt. At least very compact, I should say. It's not exactly like a one-to-one measurement. So it's 50.25. I don't like that. We're not doing a weird measurement. So let's make this just 50. So make that 50 right there. That's 0.5. 50. There we go. Put that straight out over there. I'm going to go ahead and move this one over there too. So make this 50 also. Come up a little bit. I want to make sure I maintain a gap here. Like I was saying, I really don't want the projectors to slap into this rotator. So let's do like right there. Let's see how that kind of looks. Again, I'm just doing like a general kind of outline. This is by no means what it's going to finally look like. I just want to see if I can get the proportions kind of right. Okay, so let's say it was that. Does that look right? Is what I want to see. Oh, but Fusion almost had a stroke there for a split second. Okay, that's way too thick. But something like this maybe. That feels really thin. But maybe something like that. Let's see how it looks. I mean, it's close, but it's not. I don't know. It's close, but there's something that's just not quite right with it. I'm just gonna hit finish sketch and just kind of like look at it from a couple of angles. It's not quite right. It's not quite right. AJ says a lot of wasted space. Yeah, exactly. It seems like for how big the Siren is, there's a lot of wasted space in that rotator cabinet. I want to have a drink really quick just to kind of clear my throat. I have been talking quite a bit, so it's kind of messing. It's kind of making my throat really gravelly. Okay. Bolt the Floofy Werewolf says the 2001 DC used the same rotator. I think this is kind of a common misconception that they use the same rotators as the Thunderbolts. They look very similar. They use the same kind of bowl gear and slip and clutch arrangement. But they do use a different rotator. If you actually look on the 2001 service manuals, you can pull them up and you can see they use different motors in them. They use different motors. They use a gearbox. It's actually mounted directly to the motor shaft. It's almost like a C series Thunderbolt. I would say that probably the closest thing that's related to it is something like say like either a C series Thunderbolt or like a yeah no, is it C series or B series? I think it'd be a C series actually. It's very similar to that, but it's a common misconception. They look very similar. Um, Bolt the Floopy Werewolf says, "Have you made the mounting bracket for your mini for your mini SoCal Edison Model 120?" No, no, I haven't. I've been so lazy, dude. I really need to, and it honestly it would probably take like maybe like a couple hours. I'm just so lazy and I don't want to do it. Desert Siren says, "Yo, OWS of the South, OWS of Kansas. Sorry, OWS of Kansas says at Bolt Flipping Werewolf, he hasn't worked on it in a long time. It's back in Eden's place in LA. Yeah, if you look on the Los Angeles Siren vlog video, or the just basically like the Los Angeles vlog, um, you can see that model in his house, like in Eden's like bedroom, because it's just sitting there. Originally I gave it to Edon because I just didn't have I couldn't I didn't have the space to bring it over here, and it was supposed to go to Aaron, Dude Rocks 5539, and then he just like never passed it on. So it's just sitting in his bedroom. OWS of Kansas, it looks pretty close. Yeah, it looks pretty close. It's not like perfect. I mean, I mean, it's a little tall. It's tall. That's what it is. This box is too tall. That's what's messing me up here. Okay, so I want to go. I don't want to just like start manipulating that box already. I want to go actually in here and change the dimensions, which will definitely make this look a lot better. So let's change the dimensions at least a little bit, make it just a little bit shorter, and see if that helps. Let's try that. No, deselect that, please. It's Fusion's being stupid. Fusion's being stupid. No surprise. When is it not? Sometimes. That's why. Stupid. Go all the way to the end. Go to the end. Thank you. Okay. Fusion really has a hard time detecting when something is like boxed in. If it's not like all the way to the exact edge, sometimes it won't recognize it, which gets annoying. So let's try that. Let's see if this looks better. I bet you this is going to look 10 times better. Let's do 10. 10, it's about 20. That's really thin. Let's do like 30, so about 30 millimeters wide. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. So if we moved this whole rotator cabinet down a little lower, how would that look? Let's see. There we go. Okay, that's getting a lot closer now. Yeah, I mean it doesn't have the motor cover, so of course it's probably gonna screw some people up. But that's looking again, this is modeling by eye or freehanding. So again, it's not gonna look perfect by any means. But it's getting closer. It's getting closer. I think this is generally about the size I was kind of thinking it was gonna kind of come out looking like. I don't really know too much on how thick the actual cabinet is. Thick. So I'm kind of just going off of just what pictures I can find on it. There's a pretty good one on the actual, like, no, there we go. There's a pretty good one that's on the actual Wikipedia article. But, it's not, I don't know. I mean, it's not really that thick. It's not that thick. This is actually probably a pretty good guess as to how thick it looks, or how thick it actually is. It might be a little bit thicker than that, but like I was saying, I'm just worried about the projectors actually like scraping the sides of this as it spins. So, let's go ahead and read some more of the chat. So, AJ says B series. B series was direct drive. That's why I thought. I forgot if I couldn't remember if it was the C series or B series. I know that the C series was just like an odd, weird kind of collection of different stuff they didn't really work out very well. The Ray 2009. Can you try making an ACA Cyclone? I definitely can. We actually have a couple cyclones that are not too far from where I live, in Sumter, South Carolina. I wanted to go out when I was out working out there a couple months ago. I wanted to go take pictures of it, but I just didn't get around to doing it because they're kind of located in like the worst spot possible. Like one is like right on like one is basically on the middle of a highway, and then one is like way off in like some like locked gated area that's by like a chemical plant that I don't particularly want to go walking into. And then another one is like way out right in like the middle of nowhere by like some guy's like dirt road, and I don't want to get shot. So it's like it's a couple of reasons why I haven't gone to take pictures of them yet. The Model 120, I believe, is a pneumatic siren. It technically is a pneumatic siren. There's no vanes in the rotor. Um, but yeah, you can consider them a pneumatic siren. Um, the motor cover is missing on that one. Yeah, the motor cover having the motor cover missing is kind of really convenient because I can see kind of how the bolt pattern worked in the back. Um, to actually affix the stators and everything together, which I think is actually pretty similar to the way I was already doing it with just my model. So, I mean, that's always cool. So it's kind of cool when your models kind of replicate reality. Uh, I I didn't realize this. This is going to be a pain in the neck. This is going to be in my way. This gusset that's coming off of the support, that's going to be right in my way when I try to put the mounting plate on that. I didn't think of that until just now. And I've already got the part printing, so that's a part I'm going to throw away and print a new one. Okay, so oh, another thing I was also considering, I'm curious to see what the chat kind of thinks about it, is that I was actually thinking about doing a kind of like a 3D printed siren like West Shore services, where like I can just like if someone orders a siren, I'll just throw in some of the extra parts I have that are lying around. Because honestly, I have a whole bunch of like junk that I probably don't intend on using again. Like I've got like spare rotors that are like of the old design of like the Model 7s and stuff like that that I really don't intend on using or selling. So I'm like, if if you're already getting one, I might as well just like throw a part in there because I'm like it helps get rid of stuff out of my shop and it's just kind of cool. I don't know. You might like it. Like say someone might get lucky and get like say a miniature Q rotor or something like that. I don't know. FANF Siren, me and him were trying to make a cyclone. Yeah, I was considering doing that for a stream at some point, Anakin. I was considering actually having that be a stream because the cyclone's pretty easy to model. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to like do that one together, and we could have, like I said, we could have a collab or something like that. I thought I had them all in here. Mini toilet? What the hell was I doing? But I was thinking that we could have probably do that at some point in here, and maybe just do it together. I don't know. It'd definitely be fun. Do you think you can make a directional CLM siren? So like one of the rotating CLMs? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's just 10-12 like all the other ones are. I mean, all British sirens are, so it wouldn't be that hard. And considering I already have the rotors done for the castle castings, it'd be even easier. Like I could literally just go to the castle castings, and I could probably, if I want to make a rotating CLM, I would literally just take probably this whole model because it has the right size rotors, and then I would just basically import these rotors, put it in its own special thing, make the housing, and then be done with it because it wouldn't be that hard. But yeah, definitely could. I definitely could make a rotating CLM. Do I want to make one right now? Not particularly. I just have some of other stuff that kind of going on in my head right now that I want to work on. Definitely this one being one of the biggest ones I want to work on. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. I think this dimension, this looks pretty good in terms of roughly about the same size, give or take. This one, for some reason, looks so much shorter than this one. I don't know why. It might just be a trick of the light. It might just be because of the angle it's at. But I think that'll be pretty good. I'm also worried that this model is going to be very, very top heavy, which might ultimately just be unavoidable. Because I know that the 500 SHTT, the Los Angeles variant, are the very early ones that I introduced a couple months ago. The reason why they all come with that the same with that they don't just come as just the siren, they all come with that base on the bottom like you'd find in Los Angeles on the poles, is because the siren literally will not stand up without it. Like it'll fall over, and I want to make sure people can actually enjoy the siren if they get it. So that's why they all come with the Los Angeles base on the bottom of they used to be an old cold wear air raid siren in Canada. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're the CLM, Canadian Line Materials sirens. Tornado of 25 Roblox. I decided to try and make a custom omnidirectional two-tone 500 in Roblox. LOL. It actually works and looks pretty nice. That's cool. That's cool. Some of the guys that do some of the Roblox modeling are just like insane. They're like on another level. The my friend group on Discord, like we some of the stuff I see that these guys model are is just like insane. Like if you guys don't follow Armaturo on YouTube, definitely go and like subscribe to him. Some of the stuff he makes is insane. As well as of course Snow Cube, NASCAR Sim Racing, and everyone else. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll work. Does that work? Is it actually like a
You
live
can test it.
a live QR code?
You can test it.
Let me try that out really quick. Oh shit. I'm looking at chat too. Sorry. To everyone watching, sorry. We're
Here.
also like working out stuff with the wedding right now, so I'm like in between doing like several things. Uh, uh
Y'all ready to see wedding content?
I was gonna say, and for those who are wondering, I'm probably gonna record a lot of the videos from the wedding, so you'll see that eventually on my channel. Basically, of like as we're traveling and stuff like that. So there might be another vlog on the channel at some point.
Any guesses for the honeymoon in chat?
I was gonna say, I wonder, yeah, if you can guess where I'm traveling on my honeymoon in chat, I'll send you a free Siren.
Oh shit! Oh no! What if you said it before?
I don't think I have. I haven't. I know I haven't. That's cool. That works. Yeah, if you can guess where me and my wife are gonna have a honeymoon at, you get a free Siren. There's just gonna be like a wall, like just
Wall.
a wall of people guessing like
I'll
every
monitor the
every
chat.
single country and every single state.
All right, tell me chat.
Dude, my computer is like a million degrees because I'm streaming and trying to run Fusion at the same time. I need a workstation in the lab so bad.
Can we get a hint? It's a spot for a honeymoon.
It's a spot. Well, that's not very helpful, isn't it, honey?
We have a Hawaii guess.
That's not a bad one. That's not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess.
It
I need
was
to make
it was
this.
maybe on the list. Myrtle Beach. We live
Bruh.
we live 2 hours away from Myrtle
That's
Beach.
that's a funny one. Yeah, we live like literally 2 hours from Myrtle Beach.
California. We used to live. That's where we're getting married. Is California.
Yeah, we're actually getting married in Yosemite because that's where we spend a lot of our summers together. I'm gonna go ahead and modify this a little bit. Gotta add walls to this.
Florida. I'm gonna give y'all a hint. It's not in the U.S.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good hint. It's just so they're not feeling misdirected. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not in the United States. It is not in the continental United States.
We have Bahamas.
That's a good one too.
When are we cutting this off?
When are we cutting this off?
To you. You're the one offering a free siren.
That's true. If I was gonna give away a free siren, I'd probably give away the alerter. I can always make another one.
Damn, the alert is a big one.
I know it's one of the newer series I'm gonna be introducing.
All right, y'all get 5 more guesses.
That's not fair to people that are just now realizing that they're typing it out.
Okay, y'all get 7 more guesses. Seattle is in the U.S. We are not going to the UK. That is closer.
British people
St.
moment.
Lucia, another interesting guess, but not it. All right, y'all got 5 more.
My God. You heard the lady chat. Let's try this. I gotta give some dimension to this. Let's do about. Ah, that's way too thin. Is it too thin? No, I'll do 1.5. No!
Cuba, not Cuba.
Cuba.
Though the commies would be interesting.
It would be very interesting.
Canada, no. Y'all have 3 more guesses. Barbados.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Barbados. Who commented that?
Netherlands. Netherlands, I think, is the
That's
closest.
probably the
so far.
closest. That's probably the closest so far is Netherlands.
That one's pretty close, but I think that's y'all. 1, 2, 3. Y'all got 1 more.
Who commented Barbados? That was a good guess.
OWS, Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think it was a good guess? I mean,
This is
it's not
this is a
close.
good
It's just
one. I know. It's just
interesting.
that's like one that like you don't think of like when you think of people like
Oh,
places where
okay.
you're going. It's normally they're normally people are usually like Bahamas, um,
Yeah,
Mexico or something like that.
yeah. There's
Maybe
a very
if you're
like
from California, it'd probably be like Mexico. But like
Belgium, a little bit farther away.
I was gonna say,
Oh, we
like
live near Seattle. Poland, also not correct. I think that's enough for the free sirens. You want to tell them?
I think it's okay. I think
We have
that's
Australia, Switzerland. We're getting closer,
you're
but
getting
it's not
closer
it.
with Switzerland. I know you're getting close with the Dutch Nordic
France,
countries.
yep, no, not Germany.
Ratatouille. That's a stupid meme.
Y'all, you want to do the reveal?
Yeah, so we're actually getting married. We're getting married in Yosemite. We were really, dude, our buttholes were tightening when we weren't sure if Yosemite was even gonna be open this year. Um, Also, I hope everyone's fine with me just like talking and modeling at the same time. I don't think anyone is gonna care, but I just wanted to ask. But so we're getting married in Yosemite because we spent a lot of summers together in Yosemite, and we're going to be honeymooning in
Oh,
in Iceland, which is going to be super
yeah,
crazy. So, middle of the ocean,
yeah.
Iceland.
Island. So all you
So,
island people were close. You needed to combine the island
I
with
was
the
going to say
like
with like the
Netherlands.
Nordic
Yeah.
countries, yeah, they were really close. And I don't want people to feel disappointed. Like, there's still going to be like a pretty good giveaway at one point because I'm at like 1,666 subscribers. Oh, mark the beast. I'm at 1,666 subscribers so far, and at 2K, I'm definitely gonna be giving away a siren for free. It'll probably be, I
Yeah.
want to do it of my choice, but I might end up doing it as something that someone can request. If any of the ones I do have, I could probably give away. Probably not Thunderbolt. I'm gonna say that right now. Probably not Thunderbolt. That thing is such a pain in the neck to work on.
We got a. I was close, sorta, and previously it said France. You were close, sort of.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a bad one.
OWS of Kansas said, "Damn it, all caps." Desert Siren says, "That's awesome."
Yeah, so you'll definitely be seeing some kind of content. I might even end up making a second channel that's just for like vlog content. Um, like if I go like to like,
Iceland is near the UK. UK was a good guess.
yes, UK is a pretty good guess.
Yeah. Once y'all started going Europe, y'all were getting close.
There's just like this little gnat that's like flying like right in my freaking face, man. But I'm slowly, for those who are wondering what's going on, I'm slowly adding the walls to this rotator box so I can kind of just give it some dimension. Of course, like I said, all being freehand sketched, so it's kind of like iffy as to if it's gonna work well.
I don't know if it's my fault, but we went from 12 to 7 viewers.
No!
I like how Greenland is not grassy and Iceland is full of grasslands. We're gonna see all the
I was gonna say
grasslands.
we're gonna see all the grass. We're gonna see all like the mossy rocks. And I really want to see the like I was saying before the basalt columns.
Yeah,
That's
look that up. That's
I was
crazy.
gonna say if you want to see like some really crazy geography, look up like the basalt columns in Iceland. That's like the craziest stuff I've ever seen. It's like someone was like playing Minecraft and like just
Left their
and
blocks.
left it like and had like the wrong texture downloaded. No, it's like that's Gary's mod meme. That's funny. Why is this being so frustrating? There we go. Now it's parallel. That's stupid.
All right, chat. I'll let you have him back. Yeah,
Yeah,
stole him enough for the wife
my wife is
content.
just that was my so that was Bailey, everybody. That's my fiance. So we've actually, and for those who are wondering, we've been together
Six and a half.
6.5 years, and
6.5 years. Friday. Yeah. Yep.
6.5 years Friday.
Friday. May 12th. Because we're November 12th.
Oh shit, yeah,
Uh
exactly
huh.
6.5 years.
Yep.
May damn,
Uh huh.
that's funny. That's funny how that works. Fortnite. I don't know why I had that. That's the ADHD just like stimming in my head. Okay, what else we got in here? So, um, Bolt the Floofy Werewolf says, I didn't read an entire geography book in middle school for nothing. Andrew's. Oh, I was about to say.
Later.
I was about to read it like it was chat. I'm so funny.
Anderson.
So my the Brit as we call him. My I hope he doesn't see this. That's so funny. He's not gonna see my channel. But
That'd be so funny if he was
he's
watching
like
it
he's
right
like
now.
he's like so I heard you like to refer to me as something, your
It's the
husband.
Brit.
Yeah, as the Brit.
You would
But
be surprised.
my wife's coworker is British, which is why that's why I made the castle castings for those who are wondering. But his name's Andrew, and he had just sent her a text because he needs my help on something, and I would like almost instinctively just like went like, yeah, Andrew says, do you need a good electrician or do you have a good electrician? I'm like,
I'll
that's
let you answer that on your
that's like
account.
head empty moment. But what kind of like ask him like what does he mean by electricians? I mean I can do electrical work. It's like what does he need to have done? Does he need to have a like a light socket fixed or something like that or a light switch? I swear to God, if he's that incapable, I'm gonna throw my computer across the
Well,
room.
he's afraid of crabs and scorpions, so that does kind of make him
Ah,
incapable.
yes, that is true. Little baby man.
Bro, you don't like cockroaches and scorpions.
That's true. I like scorpions.
No, oh, I meant lobsters.
Yeah, lobsters are gross and scary. Sea cockroaches.
Well, that is. I said, what do you need done? He said, Connor?
What? What? Man, he's bugging, bro. That's funny. What does
I
he need
just
done?
responded with 4 questions. Because, bro, I don't know what you mean.
Bro is talking schizoid right now. Uh, okay, let's see. Do I actually have this measured to the right length? I really hope this is actually the right length. 1.5. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to make all of the walls of this be about 1.5 millimeters thick. Also, if you're wondering why I use millimeters in all of my Siren models, is because millimeters just make sense. If you're in for like the Imperial system, go pound sand. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like it just makes sense, especially at this scale. It's just so much easier. It's like I'd rather sit here and be like, oh, it's like 0.1 millimeters rather than being like, oh yeah, it's like 1/64th of like of an inch. It's like I don't need. This is dumb. Um, FANF Siren Guy 911. Also, Anakin. I don't know if you're fine with me just saying your name or if you prefer to like me have you or have me refer to you as your screen name. Um, he says I actually built an SD10 in an STH10 in Minecraft before. That's cool. Bolt the Fluffy Werewolf says I built a tornado mini siren or built a mini tornado siren and air raid siren out of Legos. I did too at one point. I like building engines out of Legos a lot. I built like vacuum powered engines. And then also pneumatic power like pneumatic sirens or pneumatic engines using the Lego pneumatic sets. I don't know, I was a weird kid. But OWS of Kansas, my love of geography started from learning all the 197 flags. Dude, that's insane. That's cool. Desert Siren says, I mean, we just had rain today too. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It rained for like 10 minutes and that was it. That's the South for you. Desert Siren says we have been have been being hammered by atmospheric rivers recently. Yosemite should be very pretty. Yeah, well, the biggest thing, Desert Sirens, that we were actually worried about is because it's also like been like a surprisingly cold spring in Yosemite. Is that like there's just a load of snow up on the mountain still, and we were like there was like in like Mariposa County was like concerned about having flooding in the valley, and we're getting married in the valley, so we're like that would suck if we've been planning this for years, and well in this year more specifically, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, it's flooding, so go get married somewhere else. Like that would suck. Um, Bolt the Floofy Werewolf. I built a Chrysler and a Model 120 from Lego. My two favorites. OWS of Kansas. I had some rain and wind today too. Yeah, I don't know if it's just it's like the weather's kind of like still in the death throes of it still being somewhat wet. What did Andrew say? Sorry about that. Give me one sec. I'm like responding to like so many people right now. So like I've got like my wife's coworker who's wondering if he probably needs to have me come over to fix something. Okay. The apartment complex we live in installed roof fans in all apartments last week, and our next door neighbors just had the fire department over because the wiring was what? The wiring for theirs was put in wrong and caught fire. So I wanted to pay someone to check how far it was safe. Yeah, I can look at it if he wants me to. What are you gonna do?
Do you know a
I know what to look
professional?
for.
Do you know a professional who might be better?
I can look at it for free and I can tell them from an educated standpoint. It's probably I bet you what probably happened is because when they were running the wires for it, they usually use Romex. And Romex, the way you tack the wires up, you usually will use a staple gun that will staple around the wire and push it into the stud. They might have missed a couple wires and stapled right through it like morons. I've seen it happen before. So that probably is
He
what
might
happened.
insist to buy a professional instead because he likes things so by the book.
That's fine. That's fine.
So
Like
do you
if
know a person?
I don't have any professionals out here. Like the professional you're looking at is me. Like you get what you get, Andrew. And trust me, you would not be disappointed. If anything, I would probably not trust the professionals out here. Actually, there's one company we used to do work for him or work with him.
Okay.
I think it's called Tri-State Electric or something like that. I think it's Tri-State Electric. I
I'll
don't
take a
remember.
look.
I don't remember. It's been a long time. We used to get jobs for them, and they get jobs for us.
They're based in North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Mm, you sure? I tell Andrew to get like literally any electrician. They're usually always going to be at least better than their electricians are not nearly as bad as like plumbers and HVAC guys, unfortunately. Everyone in chat is hearing the conversation too. They're like um OWS of Kansas says wiring isn't hard. Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's two wires. I'm like, how do you screw that up? Well, three wires if you count the ground. You'd be amazed in the South, dude. There's some real knuckle draggers when it comes to like being safe. They really need to pay attention to it. It's just like I don't know. And I don't like bad mouthing any particular group at all. But like there's some of the stuff I see in like in my day-to-day job, because I'm an HVAC technician. Some of the stuff that I see on a day-to-day, I'm like, dude, how did anyone get away with this? Of like you could have killed someone or you were gonna like you wasted all your time because you put in a new system and you didn't put it in right and you ended up costing them a whole bunch more. Tornado FANF Siren guy, number one. Yes, I'm fine with you calling me one real name. But instead of modeling in sirens, you should model like headlamps and street lamps. I actually was gonna do that for the Los Angeles series because my plan, what I wanted, because I'm so stupid. What I want to do with with the Los Angeles series when I eventually have my own property and like my own place is I want to actually take these poles and I want to have sirens on them and I want to stick them in like a garden. I actually have on when I used to sell the poles when they were still up on the site. Um, Many people probably didn't know this, but there was an option when you bought the pole to actually buy a garden spike that allows you to just take the whole pole and stick it into the ground, and then you can basically leave it in your garden. And my plan, what I wanted to do, Anakin, was I actually wanted to set up a whole bunch of these little sirens, kind of like all throughout my backyard. And then I was gonna actually make model power poles because I know I've made those before in the past too for like some of my other models I did for like class projects and stuff. And I was gonna have them actually send power through these little power poles, and then have little street lights. I was gonna 3D print and then use like either LED or either LED for like certain types of lights, but I was also going to use these little neon indicators like this, which are probably not very easy to see. But I was going to use like little neon indicators like that inside of the lamp, and then basically run these off of like say a little bit of a higher voltage DC, so that they would glow that orange kind of light of like low pressure sodium lamps, which I really like. Um, and then they also make phosphor coated ones that glow kind of green, which would make it look like a mercury vapor lamp, which is kind of cool. So I could have made like mercury vapor street lights that are like actually kind of glow like mercury vapor, which would be super cool. Okay, what else we got on here? So, um, tornado of 25 Roblox. Tornado. Am I stupid? Okay, I'm stupid. Tornado F25 Roblox. I also think my models actually look pretty nice. Well, that's cool. I can't wait to actually see what they look like. Are they on your channel by chance? Or are they where are they at? Anakin says, "Hey Connor, do you want me to do a Google Meet so me and you can be on a live stream?" He thinks he can make a good judgment about whether or not they're wiring the safe. Uh,
Yeah, Elise will make cookies.
Al
Elise.
Is it Elise or
Elise.
Alice?
No, Elise.
Okay, Elise will bake cookies. Yeah, I can definitely
Yeah.
tell what's wrong with wiring. It's not that far. And they're probably, I guarantee it's probably going to be either 120 or 240. I'm like, that's stuff I work around all the time. So, um,
Saturday?
Thiago de Souza Visaya. Hey, Connor, when are you going to test the Mini Model 2? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I do test it. I test it, like usually at least once a week. It sits on my air conditioner outside, but my wife can attest to that because it annoys the neighbors. But But I do test it. I probably will do a longer format video on it at some point. It's definitely something I could do. I basically just haven't touched it for a long time, so that's basically probably like the only reason why I haven't done anything on it. But if enough people are curious about it, I'll definitely do a video on it. What's the Brit saying?
Saturday work for you?
That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, it'll probably take like 5 minutes. Do I need a ladder?
He says, I only have a 4-foot step ladder and the hatch into the attic,
It's gonna need a
which
6 foot or 8 foot.
is a 9 up.
9 feet up.
Yeah.
It's gonna need a 6 foot ladder. Okay.
You have that?
It's gonna be about as tall as these. I have a 6 foot ladder, so I mean, if I can get up to the scuttle to push the door open and scoot it over, I can reach up and pull myself up. I do that all the time. So, tell them to send me a picture of where the door access, of like where the attic access is. Oh, the concerned little Brit.
He spelled attic with a CK.
He's so British.
Also, he did say like brilliant like 3 times.
Oh my
I
god.
know.
That's brilliant, baby. It's brilliant. Like, where's your Gordon Ramsay ass come from?
Watch him be watching the live.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I forgot I can't curse on live streams.
I said damn it earlier. I know.
Sinner. What a sinner. Oh, what the heck is touching my head?
I just killed an ant.
I thought I just killed an ant too on my head.
I hope we don't have
I hope
ants.
they don't have them coming up the window or something like that because it's chilly in here and they want to relax. I don't know. Tornado F25 Roblox. Gonna make videos about them. OWS of Kansas has got to go. Have to do some stupid crap. I'll see you, dude. The only video I have of this is a Siren test, lol, from 15 minutes south of me. Bolt, the Flippy Werewolf, looking good so far, but I'm gonna have to hop off here. Bye, y'all. Take care, man. Take care. Yeah, I'll probably be spending a bit more time on it. It really was just gonna figure out exactly how I wanted to make this box, but that's that's not exactly particularly interesting. But at least it's here now, and I should have the body still behind it. Let's see if that sketch stayed there. Did it? Sweet. Okay, so No, it's in the middle. No.
Oh yeah, you should be able to do that. No?
My dude, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy. That is also for Andrew's for Andrew's peace of mind. What that is about like a 2 hour rated fire door. So that's where that door looks so chunky. He'll notice. Well, he'll see when I go to open that door. That whole door is like steel. So granted, the rafters aren't steel and the ceiling's not steel, but the door is at least. It's like when you see like they're like, "Oh, this is my big security door," and it's like a big steel plate door, and you're like, "Yeah, your studs aren't steel." Kick the door in anyway, or just kick the drywall right next to the door. Don't break into places, guys. Let's do this about like 1 millimeter thick. It doesn't need to be super thick. I just need it to have at least some kind of structure to it. I'm actually even do like 1.5 millimeters, so it's about so it's consistent. Again, this cabinet doesn't really need to be super thick. I think I want to print it kind of all from like this one side, so I'm gonna leave this top open.
Do you want chocolate chip, double chocolate, or ginger spice?
Okay, I'm not British, so not ginger spice.
Yeah.
Probably double chocolate. Dude, I want like chocolate just put me in a coma. Oh, and Anakin says, "Are you going to answer my Google Meet question? Wait, are you going to answer my Google? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm having a hard time here. Are you going to answer my Google Meet question? Do you want to do a Google Meet so me and you can be on the live stream? Probably not right now, Anakin, because I'm not going to be on here for much longer because it is like 9:14. So, and I usually try to go to bed by around 11, and I got other stuff I got to do around the house. So probably not today. But I do want to do a live stream at some point in the future, probably either like talking about sirens, doing some siren mapping and stuff like that, or even doing like kind of like a community outreach where I kind of like touch base with my community and doing like a just chatting kind of thing. I think it'd be kind of cool to have you on. So, but probably not tonight. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so I think this doesn't look too bad. It's kind of I don't know. I really hope this is gonna be thick enough to actually hold the entire rotator spindle and everything. Spindle? That was a wow, that was rough. So let's go ahead and scoot this over and see if I can get this lined up a bit better. I messed it up because I scooted it too far. Okay, I think that rotator cabinet looks pretty good. I think it's not super thick, but it's kind of like the same kind of proportions what you'd expect. Um, T-Bolt Siren Lover 1003, what is your Discord? I actually have two Discords. There's a Discord that I actually host. That's Siren Modelers Official. It's got Snowcube and whole other Siren Modelers in there. But you can model. You can probably talk to me personally. Let me go ahead and get that for you in a second. For those who do have Discord, please, for the love of God, don't spam me. I already get spammed enough with the Discords I'm already in. OC Sirens looks like a lot of kitties in her here. There's a couple of kitties in here. That's alright. I don't even know what my Discord actually is, so hold up 1 second. Uh, do I even have any friend requests on my Discord? I don't think I do. Let's see if I have any friend requests. I was man, how I want to just like link my have my username on here so I can just go ahead and just like post it to someone.
What do you do?
My Discord. I just forgot how to do this. If you go on Discord, you should be able to look me up by this. That's literally my Discord name. So It's a bit of a meme, but you should be able to find me from that. I just like swiped my keyboard and the things went flying. Cole Moore says Jim drinks beer. I was trying to send you one, but I don't know what to put. Yeah, so that the
You can do that while I'm grocery shopping.
what?
Go to
Go to
Andrews.
Andrews? That's fine.
That should be perfect.
But yeah, so go ahead and that should be me right there. I don't know. Is this you or not? I'm not sure. Photo Code Model 20. I don't know if is this actually you? I think it is. I don't know if this is actually you or not. I'm not entirely sure. Let me go ahead. I got stupid memes that are on my thing. Hold up. Oh, okay, cool. So that was you. All right, I just wanted to check really quick. All right, I sent you. I just sent you a message. I said, "Yo." Okay, cool. So what else we got in here? Gosh, that thing. That's a cool model. Not gonna lie. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate Siren Alarms of Northern Illinois. Yeah, it's coming along very slowly. Okay, it's kind of being a bit more finicky than I really want it to be, just because this I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to design the rotator to fit inside this. Um, but I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't be that hard, to be honest. So I'm gonna probably delete a couple of things. Not delete. I'm gonna go ahead and make some stuff invisible. Just makes it a bit easier to see what I'm doing. I also really wish I had my glasses. Would have made this a lot easier. Oh, and for those who don't, if you don't follow me on my Instagram, I also just got a Tesla coil recently, which has been a lot of fun. That's been something I've been scaring the hell out of the cats with, and also enjoying way too much. But yeah, I got a Tesla coil, which is super cool. I was gonna build one. I wanted to build one a long time ago when I was younger, but I honestly just like never had the time or the patience to do it, so I just never ended up doing it. But I've finally ended up actually getting one now. It's a solid state planar Tesla coil, which is super cool. And it can technically play music. Not that it really works very well considering it's a Tesla coil and you're basically gonna be doing everything like by duty cycle. You're pretty much limited to playing just square waves, which is fine and it sounds cool still, but you have to keep that in mind. But I can play stupid stuff on it. Like I was able to play like like the Nokia ringtone. That was a lot of fun. It's stupid Tesla coil, but it's pretty cool. I might do a video on that on my main channel at some point, just because it's kind of fun to mess around with. But definitely, I honestly really can't wait until I finally have my lab done, which is gonna be coming in a couple months. I'll have a lab to actually kind of be doing a bit more different, like more stuff inside of. So definitely stay tuned for that. Um, this will also definitely like open up a lot of opportunities for doing some better 3D printing stuff because I'll actually have the space to do it. Whereas I'm limited to like one desk and a closet currently right now in order to do all of this stuff with the small siren shop and with all my kind of like research and development and kind of making some more models. And eventually, once I have the full lab, I'll actually be able to probably start producing Thunderbolts and actually getting those out. And I can also finally start kind of doing some more design work on the 1003, which is on my list of stuff to do. Don't get me wrong, it's on my list, but it's just I don't have time to do it right now. It's just too complex. I'm barely just now starting to actually build the RCM for my the Thunderbolt 1000X and the timer circuit for the AR timer. And for those who are wondering, the Thunderbolt 1000X that I was working on, that's in a couple videos ago, the Thunderbolt 1000X is, like I said, is based off of like the 1952 variant of the Thunderbolt, so it's got all the older kind of design implements of it. The only thing that's different is that I do have a later series blower cabinet, which I was just lazy and I just wanted to make sure it has vents. because the entire bottom of the blower is sealed, so there's no way for air to get up underneath the pallet of the blower to actually feed the siren. Which is pretty much why I put the vents on the front, like the front grill. But the oh shit. But as I was saying, the Thunderbolt 1000X is loosely based off of the 1952 variant. So when I do actually make the AR timer for it, which it's gonna have a timer circuit, so you're actually gonna have a timer hooked up to it. It's probably gonna be something optional because it's an extra whole set of electronics I have to add to it. But once I do actually end up making it, it's going to be based off of the very, very early Federal Signal AR timers, or Federal Sign and Signal AR timers, so like the rectangular ones. Um, Anakin of FANF Siren Guy 911, I've already talked to him about this. He already knows what I'm talking about. But like, it's going to be based off the older series, just because I think it looks really cool and it's really period appropriate for the siren I'm making. So we're getting really close now. It's visually, it's almost there. Why is this sketch so big? Let me get rid of the sketch. There we go. That looks a bit better. So visually, we are almost there. I don't know what I don't know what that is. Is it segmented really stupid? It kind of is. Okay. Is this its own separate entity? That might have came in clutch right there and saved my ass. New body, yes, please. So I can make sure that this rotator cabinet or this this housing is fine. So, where is that? I did make it a separate entity. Okay. Okay. That might actually be pretty helpful in a second. Why does it have this little slit here? Fusion, you can be so stupid sometimes. Let's go ahead and let me cover this up really quick. I'm just gonna do it the lazy way, which is just do a rectangle and fill it in. Is that Andrew again?
No, I was just making sure it wasn't Andrew.
Okay. Yeah, let me fill in this little rectangle really quick. I don't know why it did that. There we go. I made sketches invisible. There we go. So, and if you are messaging me on Discord, I will tell you right now, I'm probably not looking at it right now, just because I'm working on the model. Don't take that personally, please. I'm just, like I said, I'm got a lot of stuff going on at the same time. Let's join that. Ah, there's a square now. No. Come on, man. What's a homie gonna do? There we go. That should have captured both of those. I just want to make sure I get rid of that little slit because I don't want that on there when I actually go to try to print this. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to save this as its own separate entity because it's kind of convenient that I can actually just... So here's the box itself. Make this sketch invisible real quick. So I can actually take this and move this now so I can have close off the panel or leave it on the other side. So that's kind of nice. I might leave it like that. As I kind of design the rotator to actually fit inside here. So I'm going to probably leave that the way that is. All right. So, sorry about that. I was just leaving the chat for a little bit. I just had so much going on. Also, I realized you can only see my head, like a little, like a moron, because I didn't realize I actually didn't have my camera facing me very well. I also really should be using my GoPro as a camera, because I could live stream with the GoPro. So, okay, so let me go ahead and read some of the chat. So,
So it might be time to go soon.
yeah, I was going to say, I'm probably going to be getting off pretty soon. Uh, what? What's that?
For that picture. 4x4.
Size?
Too big.
Put it in. Did you change it to inch standard?
So you're really only this.
Yes, let's put it in inch standard.
It's really the only like square one I can
About
get.
4, you said 4 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like right there.
Is that too big?
That's 4 inches. That's like a Polaroid picture.
That's true.
Because
Alright, yeah.
the Polaroid's like 4x4 or 4x4 and a half.
Seems kind of big.
It seems kind of big, but
If they had 3x3, I think I'd do that.
it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Nobody's gonna care whether it's 4x4
I
or
was gonna
3x3.
say they're not gonna care about like what kind of ratio it is. This looks like I'm like just going like
Glossy or matte?
oh my god, glossy,
Like glossy.
glossy. Yeah, I don't know. For paper for the paper,
Yeah.
you can do there's like just regular gloss. They got gloss, they got high gloss or like ultra
They
gloss.
have glossy and matte.
Go with glossy then. Don't do matte.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the chat.
No, I don't want to do matte because of the QR code. Matte would
Yeah,
make the QR code easier.
yeah, matte would make the QR code easier to read. Okay. So Tornado 25 Roblox. Also, the Siren models I made are FS 2000, the Federal Signal 2001 130s, FS Model 5, and some other sirens I forgot, but I can go check really quick. Cole Moore says Jim Drinks for here. T-Bolt Siren Lover 1003 friend request sent. Um, Sirens and fire alarms in Northern Illinois. Gosh, it's a cool siren model. Sorry, I scrolled like probably way past where everyone's actually at now. One day I could show you my SD10 on call or something. Unfortunately, it's selling because I don't have time and resources. Ah, it sucks. AJ says I'm GVAX. Are you referring to, like you work in HVAC? Um, Tornado of 2000, Tornado F25. Sorry, I'm like stumbling over that every time I run into it. Figured out the other siren models I made. Colmore says I put it in wrong. It should be that because T-Bolt Siren Lover was able to put it in. I got her on there. How would you mount the motor for the choppers though? So the way that the actual one mounted is kind of interesting. They kind of use like almost like a saddle mount. So on the basically they for the real 500s, it's essentially just like a regular plate, and then the motor itself on either the end bells of the motor, it has like these feet that come off of it. So the way I'm probably going to do it is going to do something similar to that, but I'm probably going to like so here. Hold on, let me get rid of this tube. Let me get rid of this tube really quick. So the way I'm probably going to do it is I'm going to do something similar to that. I might actually go in and either rotate this. I want to rotate this around a little bit just to kind of get it in an easier spot around this axis, please. There we go. Let's try that. Because that should get that gusset out of the way so that it will actually mount properly. But, oh, shh. Hold on. Where's the projector? Where's the intake tube? All my stuff is in the way? What is this? Oh, I'm messing with the 12 port, or the 8 port side. Let me go ahead and get rid of that so I can see what's going on. So projector 1 right there. Okay, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to rotate this whole thing like this so I have space in here to either make my own saddle to actually hold the tube that's got the motor in it and basically have it either coming off the bottom and having it just resting on that, or what I can probably do is since I'm going to be modeling, I'm going to be printing this piece like standing straight up like this. Hold up, let me get out of this real quick. Since I'm going to be printing this piece standing straight up most likely, like this. DHTT. Or is it? Or is it? It's a stator plate. It's one of the stator plates. I think it's the 8-port stator plate. Yeah. Is it that one? I don't want to. I do not want to use their own in-house modeling thing. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be printing it like this. It's gonna be all supportless. I can probably actually model like a part that's gonna stick off of this that will be on here so that when I print it, it'll have a flat point to mount to, and I can just mount that to the bottom of that plate, of that intake plate right here, or not the intake plate, the this mounting plate on the bottom. That would probably make that a lot easier. This is a really like bad image of it. No fault of Tyler Shaw, but yeah, I don't know. It's probably something like that is probably how I'm gonna end up doing it. And then in the center of that plate is gonna be a hole, definitely, so like the wires can go all the way down the center of the tube and into the rotator cabinet. Yeah, I think that's definitely how I'm gonna be doing it. Ah, man. Ah, my throat. I'm talking so much. It also is really hot today, so that probably also screwed up my throat a bit. Bu- 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 Sirens and alarms in Northern Illinois. I also sent you a friend request on Discord. I actually have a Tesla coil too, Lamau. I also modeled an SD10 modulator 6024B in Chrysler Air Raid Siren. That's cool. In Roblox or like IRL? That's cool. Cole Moore, a 2 horsepower Darley. I mean, I could make like a long leg Darley. If I was gonna make another Federal or like another Model 2, I probably would make a long leg variant, like the Federal Code ones, just because I like the Federal Codes. They look cool. Or if I was gonna make another one, I'd probably make it like 5.6 port or something like that. T-Bolt Siren Lever 1003. I make Siren plushies. Yeah, I know. I've seen a couple of your videos. I've seen a couple of your videos on YouTube. I think it was from a comment on like BSP video or something like that. I don't remember. I think I've seen it a while ago. Sirens and Alarms of Northern Illinois. I made some square wave music for my own. If you want, I can send you files for it. That'd be awesome. I was gonna either try to either make my own square wave music for it or just like convert some files over, but I haven't yet done it. Also, it is super funny because you can get your Tesla coil to actually play the the air horn like wheeling tone, which is funny as hell when you actually hear it do it 'cause it sounds horrible, but it's still recognizable as like the air horn. Um, T-Bolt Siren Lever 1003. So a prototype T-Bolt. I have a friend who loves prototype T-Bolts. Yeah. So the Thunderbolt 1000X is kind of like a prototype T-Bolt. So it's based off of, like I said, that's based off the really early ones. With the only exception being that it's not single tone, and that you can make it whatever port ratio you want. If you haven't seen my video, go back and look on my channel and watch it. It kind of explains everything, and you also get to hear it. I'm gonna have a quick drink of water, everyone, because it's like I said, my throat's getting real dry right now.
Almost time.
Yeah, it is almost time for me to get off too. Like I said, I want to try to have the rest of my night. This is also going on a really long stream so far too, but I'm glad people got to come ahead and see what I was doing though. FANF Siren Guy says everyone in the strat try to make everyone in the strat try to make this chat sound like a 5-year old. I think you meant in everyone in this chat, but I get what you mean. Um, Real quick, the siren I went to test was a rare Wheeling WPS 2808 from 1985. Really? What kind of cabinet did they have with it, or is it kind of hard? It's probably you can't really tell, but I'm curious what they had for the cabinet. STH10 says suggestion for the Los Angeles Siren series. Can you make Los Angeles poles with the skirts around the basket? Just a suggestion. I thought it was interesting. I mean, that'd be really cool. So you're talking about like the older series poles. So you mean like the small basket ones? I get that. Yeah, I mean I probably could. And for those who are unfamiliar with the Los Angeles series, there's actually like several different kinds of poles you actually can find out there. Some of them are rarer than others. The baskets and poles that I make that you see on my Los Angeles series are modeled after the like 1950s versions of the baskets that were put up. Um, but the poles that were on like some of the early series of like that are from like the 40s, which mainly consisted of like federal codes and stuff like that. those baskets, you can actually tell are older because the pegs are different. And in fact, the in the Los Angeles Siren blog, the like Mach 5 or like Federal Code or Federal Enterprises like a Model 5 that I climbed, or probably actually a Model 7. Um, that Siren I climbed, that Edon went and climbed too, is that's one of the older baskets. It's a basket that's been modified. I can tell it's been modified because when I'm climbing up it, you actually can see that one of the legs has been cut off of it, basically to make the basket smaller. But yeah, it's I could probably definitely do that. I mean, it's the pole is very similar. Basically, all we have to remake is just remake the little basket. Basically, cut the basket in half, and then yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. I definitely could do that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, STH10. Uh, Tornado 20 F25 of Roblox, an analog ESC86. Sorry, that's cool. Damn. I mean, it makes sense to be analog considering it's from like 1980 something. Everyone in this chat try to start a 5-year-old fight. Tornado F25 of Roblox. One of the last ones in the entire world. I was gonna say, I don't think I've like actually seen a WPS 2808, let alone one with an analog controller, if they'd even be still working. Silent 65 Gaming, what's your Discord? Go ahead and scroll up. You should be able to see it up there. Yeah, like yeah, Tornado's F25 Roblox said that. Um, I'm not trying to be rude, but can you not comment every 5 seconds, dude? Are you talking about me or oh? Cole Moore says ACA Hurricane when? Probably after I'm really completely done with the Thunderbolt, then I'll probably work on an ACA Hurricane. Silent 65 Gaming says, when are you going to sell the siren mounts for the sirens on Etsy? I'm getting back to selling stuff on Etsy eventually. I finally got some filament again, so I can start doing that. I probably want to finish the DHTT before I go ahead and start selling them again. But I do have a couple of 500s I'm actually working on getting out. The poles are just such a pain in the neck to make, like because there's so many like fine little pieces on them. But definitely soon. I have plenty of pole pieces printed. It's just waiting to get them actually out and put together. Silent 65 Gaming says, sounds demanding the way I said it. Didn't want to make it sound like that. You're alright, dude. You're alright. Oh, Georgia ventilation and cooling plus sirens. Okay, that makes sense. Desert Siren says food's calling. Catch everyone later. I'll see you later, man. Sirens and alarms of Northern Illinois. I wonder who over here believes the random crap going around about Tyler Shaw. Uh, I've got no idea, dude. I don't watch a whole lot of Tyler's videos, so it's kind of I don't know. STH10 says, and those poles were only available with 7Ts and Mach 7s. Yeah, exactly. They were pretty much were only ever used with just that was those were part of Los Angeles's like kind of intermediary system between when they used to use like the Federal Electric like Model 1.5s like for like street corners and stuff like that, as well as like the Model A's and Model D's. Um, Once those kind of they realized those weren't really cutting it, that's when they went and they started putting up the actual poles with the Mach 7s on them. And that's pretty much where those poles kind of landed. And then they eventually found out that okay, well those weren't really loud enough and they didn't cover the amount of area that they thought it would, which is why they started tearing them back down and then putting up and either keeping some of them and moving them in other spots, or they went ahead and they put like the SD10s and stuff, like the SD10s and the 500s up. Sirens and alarms in Northern Illinois. Are you going to make a mini modulator? I made an Arduino do federal ultra signal ultra voice tones. Probably at some point. A modulator. I mean, I've already got like a 20, the 2802, so I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to make a modulator. Yeah, the one at McCraney Warning Systems. Again, if it's about Tyler Shaw, I got no idea. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh yeah, one of the 4 million parts of Armaturo's hurricane that's spread everywhere. A- yeah, AJ. Yeah, I know that hurricane has been absolutely just like butchered, picked apart, and like spread across like the rest of the like 9 kingdoms, man. Legend has it if you reunite all the pieces, you might have half of a working hurricane. But we're kind of winding down here. It's getting late. It's about 9:44 now, so probably gonna be wrapping it up pretty soon. But I just want people to kind of see what we were working on, kind of have a little bit of a chat and see what's going on with it. I might work a little bit more on the rotator. I kind of just work better when I'm not really focused on, holding conversation and stuff like that. But if people are really fine with me just maybe doing a video at some point in the future where I just sit here and actually design the rotator and you get people to kind of an idea of like what I'm thinking about, and I just don't talk to I don't interact with chat or something like that. Maybe I can go ahead and do that too. It's kind of to see what people are kind of into. So I don't know. But like I said, it's getting late. 9:45. I got stuff I gotta do. I'm hungry. I'm tired. It's hot in the house. It's like 90 degrees outside. So probably gonna be wrapping it up, guys. But I do appreciate everyone kind of joining the stream and having a little chat. I see people are still kind of talking amongst themselves, but I think with that, we're probably gonna have to start getting this thing closed out. Again, it's just getting really late, and like I said, I'll probably be doing some more stuff in the future, but I did want to get some kind of content out because I do know that I've been pretty lax recently, so I want to at least have something out there. It's a bit of a short stream. I'm cutting it about an hour short from what I normally do, cutting it off at about 2 hours and 3 minutes away from our regular 1 hour or 3 hour kind of stream. But I appreciate everyone kind of being in here and really enjoying everything. And I'll see you guys once the 500 gets finished. So I guess with that, I'll bid everyone good night.